Hello, welcome back to the CASIO SK-1 circuit bending video. I'm going to try to make this short and clear because I assume if you are watching this, you've got some soldering experience. So really what I just want to show you are the points to bend that I like. All of the bending that I have ever done on this involves these three chips. Underneath here, this is the back side. See, I've got the SK-1 flipped over like so. These three big IC chips are where you're gonna be, let's see if I can get that shadow out of here, connecting wires and basically bridging circuits. And what I did was took 11 wires and I ran them, soldered to different points here, which I have drawn out on this diagram. Soldered them here, all facing in this direction, and I removed the output jack. This little output jack on the back of the SK-1. It's upside down, but you can see the DC voltage in and where was the output jack. So I desoldered that jack to make room for this ribbon cable, or this bundled cable, to come through to my end connector there. So when you remove that, when you remove this output jack, you're going to need to solder bridge a couple of things. These 2 points there, and these 2 points there. Need to be connected. And I did it on the other side of the board. You can't see here, but if you look at this connector, when there's not a jack plugged in to this, it closes these circuits. So those 2 points there, bing, bing, those have to be bridged, as do those 2. Make sense? Okay. So let's get to what you actually, I hate this shadow, there we go. What points you want to focus on. I tried to avoid, really, you're safe to short circuit any of these. These are, I think there's 14, 28, there's 28 on each chip, 14 on each side. You're good to short any of these with each other without doing damage to the instrument. I chose the ones that I thought were the most musical, which, if you want to pause it on this diagram here, those are the points that I chose, and I ran them all out to 1/8-inch jacks. Basically, the wire just connects to the tip part of this jack, these jacks. And then you can bridge them in whatever way you want with these connector cables. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to put this on the tripod. kind of my process for discovering what points I like to bend. I set it on the chord mode so it just automatically plays. Let her rip. Let's turn it down a little so we can hear me. And then I got an alligator clip, and on the end of it is two little nails will work. Two little very tiny, sharp, pointy things. Let's turn it down a little bit more. And then I just start messing around over here. Make connection with one. See, I tried to avoid ones that just shut it down. And shutting it down is definitely something that can be cool, but you're definitely going to get shut down when you start jumper cabling a bunch at the same time. Don't worry, you'll get there. But as far as just one point shorted to another, tried to avoid ones that totally shut it down. After I did this bend, I discovered that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, no, the 4th one up. 1, 2, 3, 4. That guy. I started messing with this and was getting some really cool stuff, and I regret not adding that into the bend, but next time. I was getting it to, this has to do with the clock somehow, but I was getting it to do some really messed up stuff. See? So I definitely recommend shorting the furthest line over, the 4th one, to other stuff. But I'm not going to go through how I did the soldering and all that. I assume that if you're doing this project, you're good enough that you know how to solder, and don't leave the gun on these IC chips too long. Don't leave the heat on there too long, because you will burn them out. I should say that before I laid the wires down, I would just touch these points, whatever one I was going to solder. I made my diagram, so I had it all planned out, which ones I was going to short and bring over to the auxiliary bender box over here. But I would touch the iron to the point that I wanted to solder, put a wire onto, and give it a little extra solder. And then I would do the same thing to the wire. I would tin it. And if you don't know what that is, that means you just kind of touch the iron to the end of that wire and get a little solder on it, so that when you do lay it on there, you can actually hold it with one hand, hold it right where you need to go. Try to hold the wire in the direction so it's going along the trace, so you're not going to be wonking off into another direction and accidentally shorting something you don't want to be shorted. But with the end tinned, and this thing, this little IC leg point with a little extra solder on it, they'll come together real quick and real nice. So yeah, there's my CASIO SK-1 bending advice. And I've never done this. I've seen other people do it, but I wanted to make an external box that you could unplug, and then you've just got the instrument, you know, normal. But I had these jumper cables laying around from taking apart organs for years and years, but I thought this was putting them to good use. So then, get in there, and all these wires are going to those different points on the ICs. Oh, and I did put some momentaries in there, which are basically doing the same thing as shorting over, but I picked some of my favorite ones, and that one adds some super crazy sub. I'm not sure which one that is. You'll find it. And then, of course, you can do multiple ones and press buttons, and you can basically just get it to go bonkers. Lots of fun. So that's that. Have fun. I'm sure I left something out, but you get the idea. These things are pretty indestructible, surprisingly, except for these darn little keys. But I did figure out. I've been banging on this for 3 days, and my old wooden keys are holding up just fine. So have a good time, and yeah, reach out to me if you want to. If you're a wealthy heiress and you want to pay somebody to bend your Casio SK-1, I'm available.